My neighbors demanded that I cut down my tree because it drops leaves in their yard. When I refused, they secretly tried to poison it, but I caught them red-handed. Later, their son accidentally revealed the real reason they wanted the tree gone, and now the whole neighborhood is beefing with each other. I've had this oak tree for 8 years. It was here when we bought the house. My kids built a tree house in it last summer and spent every weekend up there. The Martins moved in 3 months ago. Nice couple at first. Brought us cookies. Their son played with my daughter a few times. Then Jolene Martin knocked on my door, said the leaves were destroying her flower beds, and the acorns were a safety hazard. I offered to rake their yard myself every week. She said that wasn't good enough, just cut it down. I laughed, thinking she was joking. She wasn't. Glenn Martin came over the next day with printouts about tree removal services, handed me 3 quotes. The cheapest was $3,200. He said they'd split it with us. I told him we weren't cutting down a healthy tree. He got this look on his face like I just insulted his mother. The next week, their kids stopped coming over. My daughter asked why Jonah couldn't play anymore. I didn't know what to tell her. Then Jolene started posting in our neighborhood Facebook group about irresponsible homeowners who don't maintain their properties. Never mentioned me by name, but everyone knew. 2 weeks later, I noticed something weird. The grass around the tree roots was dying. Brown patches spreading from their side of the fence. I'm not an expert, but it looked wrong. My wife said maybe it's just the heat, but we'd had a mild September. I called an arborist. Guy came out and took soil samples. Said there were unusual chemical levels in the ground. Could be contamination. He recommended I document everything and maybe install a camera. Cost me $180 for the visit, but I took his advice. Installed a cheap security camera aimed at the tree. Didn't tell anyone. That night at 2:47 a.m., I got a motion alert on my phone. I watched Glenn Martin hop our fence with a gallon jug. He poured something around the exposed roots for maybe 90 seconds, then climbed back over. I was shaking. I was so angry. Saved the footage to 3 different places. The next morning, I knocked on their door at 7 a.m. Glenn answered in his bathrobe, looking annoyed. I held up my phone and played the video. His face went white. He started stammering about how it was just water for the roots because they look dry. I said the timestamp shows 2 a.m. Who waters trees at 2 a.m.? He said I was harassing him and slammed the door. I posted in the neighborhood Facebook group. Didn't name them directly, but said someone was poisoning my tree, and I had video evidence. The comments exploded. Turns out the Martins had filed noise complaints against the Winters for their dog. Reported the Nguyens for parking on the street during their daughter's graduation party. Called code enforcement on the Castillos for having a trampoline. Half the neighborhood started commenting they'd had problems with them. The other half said I was being dramatic over some leaves. People were fighting in the comments. Someone suggested a neighborhood meeting. Someone else said that was a terrible idea. My wife started getting nervous. Said maybe we should just trim the tree way back. Keep the peace. I said no. This was about principle now. Then 3 days ago, their son Jonah showed up at my door. He's 10 years old. Eyes all red like he'd been crying. Asked if our treehouse was still there. I said yes. He said he missed playing with June. Then he just broke down sobbing. I didn't know what to do. I called for my wife. Jonah said his parents made him lie to a city inspector last week. They'd called about the tree being a safety hazard. Told Jonah to say the branches hit their bedroom window during storms and kept them awake. But Jonah said that wasn't true. The tree didn't even reach their window. He said the real reason was they wanted to put in an in-ground pool, their dream pool. But the contractor told them my tree's roots spread into the perfect spot. They could build it 3 feet over, but then it wouldn't get afternoon sun. His mom had picked out pool furniture and everything. I asked Jonah if he was sure. He nodded and showed me pictures on his mom's phone that he'd snuck. Pool designs, measurements, an email from the contractor saying the tree roots were the only issue, and removal would cost the neighbors $4,000 to $6,000. I heard a car door slam. Glenn was walking up my driveway. Saw Jonah on my porch. Started screaming at me for talking to his kid without permission. Threatened to call the police. Said he'd sue me for harassment and corrupting a minor. Jonah ran home crying. Now the Facebook group is completely out of control. People are choosing sides. The Nguyens organized a petition supporting us. The Bennetts started one supporting the Martins. Someone called it Treegate. My Ring camera caught Jolene taking pictures of our house yesterday.